So I want to do somewhat of a summary video after trying to troubleshoot that starting issue. And I'm basically not going to pursue it anymore. What I did do was increase the RPMs, or no, not RPMs, the idle. And I think that helped. I don't know if that's the issue. My gut tells me it's something to do with the actual CPU. We call it, it's the fuel management system. It's LH Jetronic. So I think it's something to do with that, honestly. But I'm at the point now where I don't want to replace it, because I don't really have a source or a vendor to go to, and I think it's pretty expensive. And on Ren's list they talk about, you know, if you know somebody who has one, you can borrow it, and if it works better, then you need a new one and all this other stuff. But I'm at the point now where I think that as long as I can rev it up after it bogs down and it drives fine, it doesn't stall on me while I'm driving, then I'm more or less okay with that. I kind of want to get to a point where I'm just enjoying the car and drive it. Versus constantly fixing it. So that's kind of like where I'm at. So I'll try to splice in little things that I did during the day today to try to diagnose it even further, or troubleshoot it even further. I try to see if I could read the fuel or air fuel mixture from my meter that's down here. That's like an O2 sensor that I connected to the exhaust. The problem with that was that on startup it goes through its reset process, so it doesn't show the value. So that was kind of a bust. And then there's a vacuum line. One of the other possible causes of this is not enough vacuum, or there's a leak in the vacuum lines. And the check for that, or one of the checks you can do, is while the engine is on, you pull the vacuum line that's running into that module that I was telling you about, the Jetronic, LH Jetronic module. There's a vacuum hose that goes into there. You can pull that off and feel if there's suction, and there was. But interestingly enough, it seemed like it started better when that thing was off, meaning it pulled it off. So I did a couple of different tests where I pulled it off and drove and just tried to record the meter, and it seemed like it ran richer than normal. And when I plugged it back in, it ran leaner. I don't think it ran out of spec, but it just ran leaner and richer. So I don't know what that vacuum does exactly, what it's telling the LH Jetronic or whatever. I have no idea. And so there we go. So I just know there was somewhat of a difference, and I don't know if that vacuum or the line that was plugged into it wasn't plugged in well or whatever, but it seemed to be starting better afterwards when it was warm. So again, I'm kind of at the point where I'm somewhat frustrated with the whole troubleshooting process, and I think I know what the problem is. That's the main module, and I don't want to have to replace it because it's costly. So I'm gonna just kind of pause looking into it, researching it, and there may be another problem that arises down the road where it gives me more justification to, go through that process of replacing it, or finding one that's working and then see if I can swap that out and use that instead, and all this other stuff. And I've run into problems like this before with this vehicle, in that, like, you go down all these different rat holes, and eliminating one problem or another, or one possible cause for a problem, and kind of hit a wall, and you kind of go, okay, let me just work on something else. And down the road, after fixing 2 or 3 other problems, you kind of revisit that problem, or that problem arises in a different way. You realize that was the whatever problem. So that's kind of like what I'm hoping to happen here, where maybe down the road there'll be some other issue with the vacuum line, or it could be the idle too. And so like I said earlier, as I increased the idle by half a turn, that's pretty significant, and that seemed to help it on the startups. And again, we'll see if it stays consistently like that. I do like a little bit higher of an idle, because even though it was set to spec, which is like 7,500 or 750 RPM, it's I didn't like it that low. It kind of like bogged. It seemed like it was going to stall. The RPMs didn't move at all, but just the sound of the engine, it was like that. So that's where I'm at with